Bonjour, Ginawa, Minwa. Welcome back to another episode of Ojibwe Language Table with me, Wes Jourdain. Working on lesson number 42 this week on the ezhaayan part 3. Okay, so it's continued lesson episode in a series working on talking about going to different locations, common locations in our everyday lives. So where are you going? And like it says there, locations. And this time, lesson part 2, we worked on future tense. This one is going to be past tense. Okay, when did you go? Okay, so here we go. Always start with our self intro. Bonjour, Ani Nakinawea, Wes Jourdain, Indigenous, Gidiga Benese, Indigo, Migizin Indude, Misqua Gumiwe, Zagai Gunning Indun Jaba, Oga Kaning, Gae, Gasanitsa Cogninda. So that was our self introduction. Gonna go right into it. Anina P. When? Okay, Anina P. When? When we used wa the last episode, part 2, episode 41, lesson 41. This one we're going to use ga. Okay, ga meaning past tense. Ezhaayan, you going. Anina P, ga ezhaayan, and then your location. I don't know if that's supposed to go in there. I don't know. But ingi is your I did, your past tense. Which was your response is ingi, and then whatever the rest of the sentences. We're going to see examples of that throughout this. So here we go. Working with past tense ga, we're going to use the words bijinago, yesterday, awasanago, the day before yesterday, gichi awasanago, a couple days before yesterday. Okay, so we're going to see examples of past tense in our lesson today. So here we go. Anina piga ezhaayan odenang. Anina piga ezhaayan odenang. When did you go to town? And right off the bat, I got a typo. That's okay. When did you go to town? Ingi ezhaayan bijinago. Ingi ezhaayan bijinago. I went to town yesterday. Ingi ezhaayan awasanago. Ingi ezhaayan awasanago. I went to town the day before yesterday. Ingi ezhaayan gichi awasanago. Ingi ezhaayan gichi awasanago. I went to town a couple days before yesterday. And remember, when we talk about responding to these, anina piga ezhaayan odenang. When did you go to town? You can just say bijinago, awasanago, gichi awasanago. You can just use those days. Bijinago, wasanago, gichi wasanago. And you don't necessarily have to use the whole sentence. Ingi ezhaayan bijinago. You can use that however you want to do it. Okay? Ingi ezhaayan bijinago. I went to town yesterday. So you're giving the person that's asking where you went, when you went, and telling them that it's past tense by using ingi. I did. I went. Ingi, something that happened in the past. Ezha, went, or to go. Udenang, town. Bijinago is the time or the day. Okay, moving along. Anina piga ezhaayan gikino amadi we gamigong. Anina piga ezhaayan gikino amadi we gamigong. When did you go to the school? Ingiajaga kinomadi we gumigong bijinago. Ingiajaga kinomadi we gumigong bijinago. I went to the school yesterday. Ingiajaga kinomadi we gumigong wasanago. Ingiajaga kinomadi we gumigong wasanago. I went to the school the day before yesterday. Ingiajaga kinomade we gumigong gichi wasanago. Ingiaja gikinomade we gumigong gichi wasanago. I went to the school a couple days before yesterday. All right. Anina piga jayana dawe we gumigong. Anina piga jayana dawe we gumigong. When did you go to the store? Remember, Atawe with Gumik is our name for our store. Is our locative, giving it its location. Anina P, when? Ga, future tense. Ija, go, means to go. And yun is you. Okay? When did you, Ija, go to the store? Atawe with Gumigung. Ingeja dawe we gumigong bijinago. Ingeja dawe we gumigong bijinago. Or you can put bijinago at the beginning. Okay? Bijinago and Ingeja dawe we gumigong. Bijinago Ingeja dawe we gumigong. Same thing, it means the same thing. I went to the store yesterday. Okay, so your preference, you can flip it, you can flop it, you can flip-flop it. Okay, if that makes sense. Ojibwe language isn't so strict that in that way, but there are rules you do have to follow when it comes to speaking Ojibwe. This isn't one of them, so you can put them either your time of day in the front or the back. Okay, is what I'm trying to get at. Continuing on, Ingeja dawe gamigongo wasanago. Gija dawe gamigong and wasanago. I went to the store the day before yesterday. Ingija dawe gamigong gichi wasanago. Ingija dawe gamigong gichi wasanago. I went to the store a couple days before yesterday. All right, moving along. Anina piga jayan we sinewe gamigong. Anina pi ga ezhaayan we sini with gumigong. When did you go to the restaurant? Ingieja we sini with gumigong bijinago. Ingieja we sini with gumigong bijinago. I went to the restaurant yesterday. Ingieja we sini with gumigong wasanago. Ingieja we sini with gumigong wasanago. I went to the restaurant the day before yesterday. And our last response, Ingieja was sitting with Gumigong Gichia Wasanago. Ingieja was sitting with Gumigong Gichia Wasanago. I went to the restaurant a couple days before yesterday. All right, so we see the pattern, Bijinago, Awasanago, Gichia Wasanago, okay? Yesterday, the day before yesterday, a couple or it could be a few days before yesterday is how Gichia Wasanago was how I learned what that meant. So could be a couple, could be a few, however you want to interpret Gichi, okay? Here we go. Anina piga jayan mazanai gani we gamigong. Anina piga jayan mazanai gani we gamigong. When did you go to the post office? So here's our word. Anina P, when? Ga, past tense. Ija, to go somewhere. Yan is you. Mazanaigan is a paper or a book. Wigumik is our building or our structure. Is our locative, giving it its location. So when did you go to the post office? Ani na pi ka ezhaayan mazanay gani we gamigung. Your response can be ingi ezha mazanay gani we gamigung bijinago. Ingi ezha mazanay gani we gamigung bijinago. I went to the post office yesterday. Ingi ezha mazanay gani we gamigung awasanago. Ingi ezha mazanay gani we gamigung awasanago. I went to the post office the day before yesterday. Ingi ezha mazanay gani we gamigung gichi awasanago. Ingi ezha mazanay gani we gamigung gichi awasanago. I went to the post office a couple days before yesterday. All right. So with practice, when you say these along with me or you rewatch the video, I always stress to repeat it once and then let it go for a while. Come back to it maybe later on in the evening or before bed and rewatch the video. It only takes 10-15 minutes to go through one of my videos. So repetition, hearing it and saying it, that's where you're gonna learn your auditory and then your oral speaking of it. Okay. Then once you get these two down, seeing it, reading it, agendaso, sheer he reads or counts. Agendasoin, reading or counting. Once you understand the hearing part of it and then saying it, you start to read these faster. Okay, it all comes together after a while, after a lot of practice, and maybe you don't have a good reference to learn how to write yet, but that'll come too. After you start learning how to read, you remember how some words look, and then that's your turn to write. So it all begins right here. Listening. Listen carefully, asking all you guys to listen carefully. Then pretty soon you can speak it. Doing the speaking part of it, I believe that's how you say that. And then wabandan. I think you can just say wabandan. You're telling you to watch it. You can watch something, and you can see how some of these things are spelled. Pretty soon you're writing. Ojibwe, she or he writes. And then put all those four together, and you're on the right track to learning Ojibwe and Anishinaabe. All right, so let's keep going here. Anina P, ga ezhaayan zagaswe idiwi gamigung. Anina P, ga ezhaayan zagaswe idiwi gamigung. When did you go to the council or the place where they meet? Ingi ezha zagaswe idiwi gamigung bijinago. Ingi ezha zagaswe idiwi gamigung bijinago. I went to the council yesterday. Ingi ezha zagaswe idiwi gamigung awasanago. Ingi ezha zagaswe idiwi gamigung awasanago. I went to the council the day before yesterday. And we have Ingi ezha zagaswe idiwi gamigung gichi awasanago. I went to the council a couple days before yesterday. All right, let's see what we have here. Anina Pika Ezhaayan Agendasawi Gamigung. Anina Pika Ezhaayan Agendasawi Gamigung. When did you go to the library? Here's our word Anina P. When? Ga, past tense. Ezha, to go. She or he goes somewhere. Yun, you. Agendaso, to read or count. Wigumig. Actually, there's our connector, our O. Wigumig is a building or a structure. Ong is the location. When did you go to the library? Ingi ezha agendaso wigumigong bijinago. Ingi ezha agendaso wigumigong bijinago. I went to the library yesterday. Ingi ezha agendaso gung a wasanago. Ingieja a gandaso gamigung a wasanago. I went to the library the day before yesterday. Ingieja gandaso gamigung gichi a wasanago. Ingieja gandaso gamigung gichi a wasanago. I went to the library a couple days before yesterday. Anina piga jayan gichi a dawe with gamigung. Anina pi. Ga jayan gichi a dawe with gamigung. When did you go to the mall? Okay, so we have Gitchi Adawe with Gummick, the big store, the big place where you buy stuff, and that can be considered a mall. Your communities may have other words for that. This one comes from mine right here in Red Lake, Minnesota. One of them, the ways to say mall. Okay. Ingeja Gitchi Adawe with Gummigung Bijinago. Ingieja Gitchi Adawe with Gamigung Bijinago. I went to the mall yesterday. Place where you buy things. Ingieja Gitchi Adawe with Gamigung Wasanago. Ingieja Gitchi Adawe with Gamigung Wasanago. I went to the mall the day before yesterday. Ingieja Gitchi Adawe with Gamigung Gitchi Wasanago. Ingieja Gitchi Adawe with Gamigung Gitchi Wasanago. I went to the mall a couple days before yesterday. Alrighty, let's see what we got left here. Got 3 left, I believe. Let's see, we just did that one, and I have another error on top. Okay, we're not saying Anina P. We're gonna say Anina P ga ezhaayan sa gai gunning. Anina P ga ezhaayan sa gai gunning. When did you go to the lake? Ingieja za gai gunning bijinago. Ingieja za gai gunning bijinago. Some communities they still have the N on here. Okay, and that's perfectly fine. It's the same thing. Dialect difference. Some communities have ningi. I prefer to use ingi. Okay. Ija. Ingi ija. Zagai gunning bijinago. I went to the lake yesterday. Okay, or you can say bijinago ingi ija zagai gunning. Bijinago ingi ija zagai gunning. Okay, however you want to do that. Ingieja zagai gunning a wasanago. Ingieja zagai gunning a wasanago. I went to the lake the day before yesterday. Ingieja zagai gunning gitchi a wasanago. Ingieja zagai gunning gitchi a wasanago. I went to the lake a couple days before yesterday. And our last one, Anina Pika ezhaayan ziebing. Anina Pika ezhaayan ziebing. When? Past tense. Did. Ija. Go. You. When did you go to the river? Ziebing. Given it its locative or its location. Okay, so Ingieja ziebing bijinago. Ingieja ziebing bijinago. I went to the river yesterday. And I'm just double checking real quick on the Ojibwe People's Dictionary. I should actually have a double I here. Because our root word, our word is ziibi. Ziibi. Z-I-I-B-I. And that's a river. And we have to add our connector right here. So you should have double I. Ziebing. Okay. Anina Pika ezhaayan ziebing. When did you go to the river? Ingieja ziebing bijinago. I went to the river yesterday. Awasanago and Giaja Zibing. Awasanago and Giaja Zibing. Be another way you could say it. Or Ingiaja Zibing Awasanago. However you prefer how to do it. Kind of Englishy, I think the way that I put it out here, but there's no limits to how you can say this. I went to the river the day before yesterday. Ingiaja Zibing Gichi Awasanago. Or Gichi Awasanago and Giaja Zibing. I went to the river a couple days before yesterday. So that is it for lesson number 42. Miigwech Bizindawiek. Thank you all for listening. Minawa. Miigwech Gi Ganawabandamik. Thank you guys and gals and youngsters and whoever's watching Kinawea for watching. Okay. Gi Ganawabandamik. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Gigawabamin. Minawa. I will see one of yous later. Gigawabamin and Nim. More than one. Again. Okay. Minawa. Again. I will see yous again. Aha, miigwech pesendawik ayang guamaziok.